Hello everyone, Tony here at Old Man Wrenching. Working on the Magnepan again today. This is panel number 2. Getting into probably the last 5 to 10 minutes of removing this glue. So I thought I would just show a little bit of procedure. Looks like I'm going to be using almost a full can of acetone to remove the glue from these 2 speakers. And approximately I would say 100 cotton balls and probably another 50 Q-tips. This won't be completely the end of this because it's going to take some pretty heavy work on the ends where they apply a heavier layer of glue here because they don't want that curling effect, which it did anyway. But I am starting to run into the damaged area. Like I was saying, there was a line across the glue there, and it looks like it's gone through here to the magnet. There's probably, tear here, all the way across. Like almost every single one of those are torn. Even some up into here and up into here. So again, this is one of the risks you run when you buy a set of Magnepans that are older. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of my process. I did learn something, of course, as you always do towards the end of a project. If you take a dry cotton ball and a wet cotton ball and you put them together, and then when you go across, the leading edge loosens the glue and the trailing edge wipes off the residual glue, which if you don't get off before the acetone dries will cause a haze and leave behind some more glue residue. So that works pretty good. And if I just now, one thing, when you are using the cotton balls, once it reaches a state like this, it will cease to work. So you constantly have to be turning the cotton balls and getting a new clean surface to whatever it is you're wiping, because it will lose effectiveness as it picks up that adhesive. Basically, it just wants to keep spreading a layer of old adhesive. See? So now I've got to find another clean surface. Let's go maybe like that. I'm going to do it again. Now I'm using straight lines across this tear. It's up to you when you're working yours, depending on the orientation of the tear, how severe the tear is. So somebody has done some work to this in the past. I mentioned in another video that it looked like it had small squares, and I have found those small squares just kind of scattered all over, and I'm looking at them now with the glue off, and I can see a small tear, a hole underneath of that little piece of tape. I don't know if this was, surely they didn't do that at the factory, but maybe they did. In any case, it had some work done to it in its past life. Another thing that I had run across, or I had spoken about in another video, was the black circles. And I think I know what has caused the black circles. The front side of the Magnepan is painted black. So I am guessing that whenever they sprayed the front side of this, maybe this was already in situ and it came through and just left those perfectly round circles wherever the paint passed. Kind of interesting. And it could not be that as well, but that's just a guess because it does kind of look like a satin black finish on those circles. Anyway, just things to think about when you're working on it. But you can see how slow going this process is. It's not like you're just going to come in and just wipe it off. That's one pass, right? So I'm going to go again. And it really doesn't even make that much of a difference as, you know, first pass, second pass. You know, but you are making a difference because of what it is, right? But then eventually you're going to get to a point and you're going to be like, hey, it's finally starting to clear off. When you first start making passes on it, it can be kind of it doesn't sound good. So I'll go over this part here. This hasn't really been touched yet, but you'll just hear the difference in the noise. I mean, it's just hard, gummy. A little more ice to it. And it doesn't matter how fast you move, but I do try and go along with the magnets until I get it to a clearer state, and then you can kind of do circles. But you probably don't want to do circles across any kind of a tear. And some of this area I don't even know what the state is, so that's why I'm going in straight lines. We're just going to reveal what's under it. Let me see. Pretty good tears in this one, you guys. It's not so much the size of the tears in this one as it is the quantity. What I will probably do, since these tears are all in a line, is I will cut this strip wide enough to cover that whole area. And I won't be able to come up underneath of it like I did on the other one. Alright, so we're just going to make a pass here. Again, notice I'm doing this outside. It's a little cooler today, but that's alright. Acetone doesn't flash off quite as quick. And this is that glue haze that I was talking about. If I was doing my double method, I wouldn't have that haze right now. But since I'm working on this heavy, thick glue area, the double doesn't work as well. But I'm going to come back in a minute. I am going to use... I got an airplane in the sky today. Alright, that's that. I'll call that one dead. Let me get this center part done, and then I'll start working with the double cottons. I'm going to be careful in this area, so I don't want to push through, but you can hear the mylar flexing. Right where those tears are. Right here, it's torn really close to the edge, and it hasn't lost tension yet. But it's going to need addressing in that area too. But you can't blame the previous owner for that. I mean, what probably ended up happening was the guy got really old, couldn't take care of anything really at that point in his life, and these wound up in the garage. You know, his kids moved it out there because gotta make room for Dad's wheelchair or whatever. We just got tossed in the garage, or maybe the wife didn't want him in the living room anymore. And he had nowhere else to put it. So they ended up out in the garage. And then over the years, things happen. Maybe the grandkids came over and crashed their bike into the back of the garage, knocked over a bunch of stuff. Broom fell. Who knows? If they could talk, they'd let you know. Alright, now you can see that haze forming up. So I'm going to do the 2 cotton balls, one with acetone, one without. I'm just going to make slow passes trying to keep both cotton balls in contact with the surface. I'm just going to make a few passes with this. Here's the first one. I'm going to flip it. There's the second one. a little less. I'll re-wet my bleeding cotton ball. Trying to keep the trailing one as clean and dry as I can. I'll just pass over a few more times. Now, is this clean and ready to go? Nope. Not at all. You can see all these black lines. Not to be confused with these lines. These right here, that's actually still adhesive. Like I was saying, going in a straight line like this is good for protecting those tears. Going in circles is better for removing this adhesive. That it's really just where it pooled around the side of the wire. That's what's going on there. Do some circles here. And none of this is going to come off easily. Once you get down to this level, that glue that is hung around for this whole treatment, it's on there good. So you're going to have to fight to get it off. And really, it takes almost as much time as getting through that heavy upper layer. You might notice I'm avoiding this right here. That adhesive on this edge was really super thick, and it takes a lot of work to get that off. And then I also have a tear along this edge, so that's why I'm avoiding that. I'll get back to it, but not right now. A little bit more of a delicate operation. I'll probably get out the Q-tips for that. When I'm working these lines, I try and focus on one specific piece of glue, and I just keep working it until that spot is gone. And it can be a very tiny spot and still be difficult to get off. I see there's one right here. Let me grab the camera. Show you what I'm talking about. See that guy right there? That's one of those spots. And it's a heavy glue droplet's what it is. But you can see I'm hitting the heck out of this thing, and it does not want to give it up. I'm pressing fairly aggressive on that. And eventually, it will start to give up. But like I said, you're going to spend some time on this. It's not going to go like you're thinking. You can use the finger a little bit. Now, one thing I will say is that you can be pretty aggressive with the Mylar. And the reason is because you're gonna contact those magnets, before you poke a hole in it, unless you got a long fingernail or something, and then happens to go between the magnets. But I've got gloves on. Let's work this. This thing is brutal. Look at that. Still there. I've probably spent 2-3 minutes on this thing already. It's just one little dot. Okay, come on. almost gone. Alright. And little circles on it. Okay. Whew. Yeah. Rough, guys, I'm telling you. And that's not even a big line like this. Now, sometimes these big lines will come off. Let me get some more acetone. Put you back up here. All right. So we're working on this again. We're trying to get rid of this this strong line. Well, the camera's picking it up. Yeah, this one's, see, this is a bigger line, but he came off pretty good. There's another one over here. You just don't know how this adhesive is going to work, and I bet that's part of Magnepan's problem too. You know, they don't want their adhesives to fail, but you just don't know. They're unpredictable. Anything can affect the adhesion. You know, even the production of the mylar could instill some kind of a property that's caused the glue not to stick. Now you hear that? That's because, that's what I was telling you. This is a piece of that tape, and this is the issue. If you tape it from the top side, you've got that adhesive now facing downwards at the magnet, so it's actually sticking. Now, when the magnet's energized, obviously it's going to come back off. The Magnepan wouldn't tell you to do that if it didn't work. So, again, I'm using the two cotton ball method right now. Contaminated, so that's why I'm getting this residue and glue. And sometimes I'll let my glove, it'll get off of the cotton balls, and then that causes an issue too. This is pretty substantial right here. I don't know if you can see. I guess you can. That glue coming off. Yeah. I mean, it looks completely clean, but that is completely not clean. Seems like the smaller the bit of glue, the harder it is to remove. Alright guys, well, that's enough of showing you how to clean and what's involved. If you look at this, I mean, this yellow strip stuff, I mean, it's actually under the mylar, but in that area, for whatever reason, it's very difficult to get that adhesive off. So that's a problem spot. Down here at the end's a problem spot. Down at this end's a problem spot. And then this edge along the base mid wire, it can be pretty difficult too. The green adhesive, I mean, you might be able to say it comes off a little easier, but it's got its own behavior when you're removing it. Anyway, that's enough talking for today. The next time I come back, I'll be working on fixing the tears, and I'll show a little bit of that. Catch you guys later. Bye.